What I elected to do on my spars was to pre-drill as many holes that made sense through the spars prior to any kind of rib assembly. Luckily, the wings are pretty simple when it comes to drilling holes. There aren't that many that need to be on here to begin with. So if you look at the prints, you'll notice that you need 3 holes on the center section end of the spar, and you need 3 more holes roughly in the middle of the spar. Those are for the wing struts, and then 2 holes on the wing tip end of the spar, and those obviously are for the metal brackets that help hold the wing tip in place. So I only pre-drilled, what is it, 3, 6, 7, 8 holes into my spars. 8 obviously in the front spar and 8 on the rear spar. Now there are other miscellaneous items that get attached to the spar. I did not worry about pre-drilling any of those, but I wanted to make sure that I got the holes for the wing strut and the attaching holes on the end for attaching to the center section and the wing tip on the other end. I wanted those holes to be correct and true, so I went ahead and pre-drilled those on the drill press.
Okay, a couple of things to mention here. First of all, ignore the plywood. That piece of plywood is for the metal fittings, which I'll cover in another DVD, so for now you can just ignore that. And second of all, the angle is messed up because my wing is actually upside down. So if you were to stand on your head, this is the correct orientation. But like I said, I had my wing on the table upside down, so for now just bear with me. But what I do want to make note of, if you look at the print, I don't know if I can get in here, but this hole here, man, the lighting can't get any worse, can it? That hole there I actually moved. Let me see if I can get a better shot. This one here. That hole on the print is actually hidden behind the vertical support of the rib. I'm trying to hold this steady and walk at the same time. If I can get my finger in here, this particular hole, as shown on the print, is actually up in here further, and it actually is obstructed by this vertical. So I went ahead and I brought it out along this center line to clear this. I actually, looking at it now, I could have probably brought it out a little bit further. But as I said, this is the center section end of the spars, and you'll see right away when you look at the print that this hole is actually up in here further, and it's actually completely obstructed by this vertical. So go ahead and move that out as much as you need to clear that. And the other thing that I would like to talk about, these holes. If you come down here to the wing strut holes, these 3 holes here, if you look at the original print, they have the wing strut strap that comes up and then it wraps around the top and comes back down. That particular strut on the original print is somewhat shorter, and it's at an angle that is more vertical this way. If you look at the, I believe it's the supplemental plans, that wing strut is longer and it's on more of an angle like this. So the original strut is a little bit more vertical and it wraps around the top, and on the supplemental plans, I believe, the strap is longer and it's at a greater angle. That particular strap, again, I'll go into this more, that particular strap does not need to wrap around the top. It's just 2 metal plates. It's longer and it's at more of an angle. So you need to use those dimensions for these holes here. It's at more of an angle so that the bracket itself will line up with the angle of the actual wing strut. Again, that will all make sense later on, but use the longer strap dimensions and that correct angle for these holes here. And then when you make that particular fitting, or fittings if you will, when you make those straps, everything will line up and the holes will be correct. And then of course further down, right here you have the wingtip holes, and those are incredibly exciting, so that's all I'm going to say about those. So what I did was, you know, the two tip holes, and then the, where are you? The wing strut holes, and you come on down and finally you're back to where we all started with the center section holes. So like I said, I didn't do any of the other holes. Let me see, there's some holes that need to be drilled, somewhere in here about midway of the aileron bay for pulleys and stuff like that, which I personally felt better waiting on and doing those when I actually have my cables. That way I can get everything lined up with the belt cranks and position the pulleys and cables where they need to be, and then mark the hole locations that way. So these are the only holes I decided to drill prior to any kind of rib assembly. Alright, let me download this video, see what it looks like. Maybe I'll keep it, maybe I'll start over, and I'll move on to something else.
Well, I believe, folks, that is it on drilling holes. As I said, if you take your time and look at the prints, you'll be able to find the dimensions needed to mark the holes and get them drilled. One note here on this picture, you'll notice the wood block under the spar. That's a necessity if you're going to be drilling with a standard twist type drill. There are some nicer drills out there that you can probably get away with not using a backing block, but with the twist drill you'll need it to prevent the hole from blowing out the back side. So as I said, take your time, pay attention, and you should be good to go.
Hey everybody, just wanted to say real quick again, thanks for checking out my YouTube videos, and just a couple of real quick tidbits before you leave. If you'd be so kind as to check out my GoFundMe page, the link is down in the description of these videos. For those of you who find it in your heart to donate for this new cause of mine, I've got another project going on. And there's some really cool things I'd like to do with this aircraft, and again, that's all explained in my GoFundMe. But if you find moved enough to go do that and donate, I've got this horizontal stabilizer skin, and donors will get their name put on this skin, and ultimately when this gets filled and the aircraft gets finished, this is going to be hung up on the wall of honor in my hangar. Just a little bit of recognition for those donors who helped make the project a reality. Another thing too is, I'm sure you've noticed that even this video that I'm making right now is of the same or worse quality than the video that you just watched, and that's because, believe it or not, this camera is the exact same camera that I filmed the original hint videos with. So I just wanted to point that out. I'm not really sure why, but I know the video quality lacks, but hopefully the information within is worth something. And the other thing that I want to mention real quick is, again, these are little snippets from my hint video DVDs, so a lot of these individual clips just kind of come to an abrupt end. That's just the way it is when I'm trying to rip these DVDs apart and re-edit them into small little segments, and they just kind of end weird at times. But that's it. That's all I wanted to say. And again, thanks, and I hope you'll come back, check out my channel, and see if there are any new videos and updates.
All right, I'll talk to you then. See you.